Most people carry around dozens of animal facts they picked up somewhere along the way. Nature shows, school classes, that one friend who always sounds like they know what they're talking about. Nobody bothers checking because these facts get repeated so often they just feel true. This video breaks down 40 animal myths that somehow became common knowledge despite being total lies. Some will surprise you, others sound ridiculous once you think about them. All of them will make you question what else you've been confidently repeating. 1. Goldfish have 3-second memories. This myth has insulted an entire species for decades. Research proves goldfish remember things for months, not seconds. They've been trained to navigate mazes, recognize human faces, and push levers for food rewards at specific times. Studies from 2003 showed they retain information for at least 3 months, potentially much longer. Your goldfish recognizes you as the food provider. It knows when feeding time approaches. It remembers the layout of its tank. If your goldfish seems bored, that's because you've given it nothing interesting to do for years, not because it forgot what entertainment feels like 10 seconds ago. 2. Bulls hate the color red. Bullfighting traditions convince generations that bulls despise red. Here's the truth. Bulls are colorblind to red and green. They see red as muddy grayish-brown, essentially the same as most other colors. What angers a bull isn't the cape's color. It's a human aggressively waving a large object while crowds scream. You could wave a blue tarp or yellow bed sheet and trigger the same response. The cape is red for one reason: it masks bloodstains during the event. That's it. We blamed an animal's vision for human actions. 3. Bats are blind. The phrase "blind as a bat" convinced people these animals bumble through darkness using only sound. Wrong. Bats have perfectly functional eyes. Many species see better in low light than cats. They use echolocation because it's an additional superpower for navigating complete darkness, with precision vision alone can't match. A bat detects a single mosquito from 6 feet away while flying full speed through a forest. Your eyes can't do that. Bats aren't disabled. They're operating with sensory equipment most animals dream about. 4. You swallow 8 spiders yearly in your sleep. Journalist Lisa Holst created this fake statistic in 1993 to demonstrate how quickly false information spreads. She succeeded spectacularly. From a spider's perspective, a sleeping human is terrifying. You're massive, vibrating with every heartbeat and breath, emitting heat and carbon dioxide, making unpredictable movements. Spiders detect vibrations as their primary warning system. They avoid you like you'd avoid sleeping beside a jet engine. Unless you're sleeping outside with your mouth deliberately open and covered in insect pheromones, no spider is volunteering to enter your mouth. 5. Dogs see in black and white. We've collectively decided dogs experience the world like old film. False. Dogs see colors, just a different range. They have dichromatic vision similar to humans with red-green color blindness. Their world contains blues, yellows, and grays. This makes the pet industry's obsession with red toys hilarious. That red ball on green grass? Your dog sees a dark blob on a light background. You've created the hardest fetch game possible. Blue and yellow toys stand out clearly. Match toy colors to their visual abilities if you actually want to help. 6. Alpha wolves dominate packs through aggression. The internet obsesses over alpha males. Business coaches discuss it. Dating experts sell courses on it. Fitness enthusiasts reference it constantly. All of it traces back to a wolf study from the 1970s that was fundamentally wrong. The scientist who published it, David Mech, has spent years asking people to stop using his research because he realized his mistake. He studied captive wolves thrown together randomly like strangers forced to share a cell. Of course they fought for dominance. Real wolf packs in the wild are nuclear families. The alphas are the parents, and the betas are their offspring. There's no hostile takeover or constant power struggle. It's parents raising pups until the kids leave and start their own families. Calling yourself an alpha basically admits you're a functional parent. Not exactly the powerful statement people think it is. 7. Touching a baby bird makes its mother reject it. Parents tell kids this lie to stop them grabbing every baby bird they find. Most bird species have almost non-existent smell. They rely on vision and hearing, not scent. A mother bird invests weeks of energy laying eggs, incubating them, and feeding hatchlings. She won't abandon that investment because a strange smell appeared. If you find a baby bird and can safely return it to a visible nest, the mother continues caring for it. The real danger isn't rejection, it's the parent bird defending her baby by dive-bombing your head until you leave. 8. Ostriches bury their heads in the sand. Think about this logically. An animal whose survival depends on breathing decides the best defense is cutting off air supply while leaving its entire body exposed to predators. That makes zero sense. This myth comes from people observing ostriches from a distance while they tend ground nests. They lower their heads into shallow holes to turn eggs or check them. From far away, their heads seem to disappear. In reality, threatened ostriches run at speeds exceeding 40 miles per hour or deliver kicks powerful enough to stop a lion. They didn't survive millions of years by suffocating themselves when danger appeared. 9. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. This saying exists to excuse giving up on training senior dogs. Science disagrees completely. A dog's brain remains capable of learning new behaviors, commands, and routines throughout its entire life. Researchers successfully taught elderly dogs to solve puzzles, navigate new obstacles, and respond to commands they'd never heard. The difference isn't ability, it's that older dogs have established habits taking longer to override, exactly like humans. If your senior dog isn't learning, the problem is your training approach or patience level, not the dog's cognitive function. Old dogs absolutely learn new tricks. They just need owners willing to teach them. 10. 1 dog year equals 7 human years. This multiplication formula is simple, memorable, and biologically meaningless. If accurate, dogs would reach maturity at 7 years old and live until 150. Neither is remotely true. Dogs experience rapid development in their first 2 years, reaching adolescence by year 1 and full maturity by year 2. After that, aging varies dramatically by breed and size. Giant breeds like Great Danes are seniors by age 6. Small breeds like Chihuahuas remain energetic into their teens. The 7-year rule is convenient fiction for rough comparison, not actual biological conversion. 11. Sharks must keep swimming or they'll die. Some shark species need constant movement to push water over their gills. Others don't. Nurse sharks, wobbegongs, and angel sharks spend hours lying motionless on the ocean floor, using buccal pumping to actively draw water into their mouths and across their gills. They breathe fine without swimming. We've romanticized sharks as tireless predators that never rest because it makes them seem more threatening. In reality, many species are ambush hunters conserving energy by staying still until prey wanders close. Even apex predators appreciate good naps. 12. Penguins mate for life. We've turned penguins into symbols of eternal devotion based on incomplete observations. Many penguin species stay with the same partner for one breeding season, then pair with someone different next year. Emperor penguins, often cited as most romantic, have divorce rates around 85%. They're not heartbroken. They simply choose new partners without hesitation. Even species that typically reunite each year abandon their mate if they arrive late to breeding grounds or if better options present themselves. Penguins make practical reproductive decisions, not romantic commitments. We projected our relationship ideals onto birds optimizing genetic success. 13. Crocodiles cry while eating their prey. The phrase crocodile tears refers to fake sympathy, but the tears themselves are physically real. They're just not emotional. Crocodiles have lacrimal glands near their eyes that activate during feeding. The glands might help lubricate eyes or expel excess salt. When a crocodile thrashes its meal around, those glands get stimulated mechanically, producing tears having nothing to do with remorse or sadness. Medieval observers saw this and created a myth about guilty predators weeping while eating. In reality, that crocodile isn't contemplating ethics. It's experiencing automatic physiological response while consuming food. 14. Elephants are afraid of mice. This myth probably started from a single incident where an elephant startled at unexpected small movement and someone built an entire fear narrative around it. Elephants have poor close-range vision, so sudden movements from small objects can surprise them. But surprise isn't fear. Researchers deliberately placed mice directly in front of elephants multiple times. The elephants either ignored them completely or investigated them calmly with their trunks. An animal weighing 6 tons that regularly confronts lions isn't losing sleep over a rodent. The myth persists because humans find the irony of giants fearing tiny creatures amusing, not because there's truth to it. 15. Camels store water in their humps. If you cut open a camel's hump expecting to find a water reservoir, you'd find something different. Fatty tissue. The hump is concentrated fat storage, letting camels survive extended periods without food by metabolizing that stored energy. They're remarkably efficient at conserving water through specialized kidneys and nasal passages, but the hump itself has nothing to do with water storage. It's pure calories. Concentrating fat reserves in one dorsal location serves a thermoregulatory purpose. It keeps their core body relatively lean, allowing better heat dissipation in extreme desert temperatures. We assumed it was water because the visual made intuitive sense, but evolution doesn't always work the way we expect. 16. Mice love cheese. If you're baiting mouse traps with cheese based on cartoons, you're using one of the least effective options available. Mice have extremely sensitive noses, and many processed cheeses smell overwhelmingly strong to them. Their natural diet consists primarily of seeds, grains, and fruits. They're opportunistic carbohydrate seekers. Peanut butter, chocolate, or dried fruit work far better as bait because they align with what mice actually prefer. The cheese myth likely originated when cheese was commonly stored in pantries and cellars where mice already lived. They ate it because it was available, not because they preferred it. Modern pest control experts rarely recommend cheese for this reason. 17. Chameleons change color to blend in. Chameleons don't scan their environment and transform into matching patterns like biological camouflage technology. They're displaying their internal state externally. Color changes communicate mood, regulate temperature, and signal other chameleons. Bright, vibrant colors often indicate aggression or courtship displays. Darker colors help absorb more heat. Some species have limited camouflage ability, but that's a secondary function, not their primary purpose. If a chameleon turns bright red or yellow, it's not attempting to hide in similarly colored surroundings. It's telling nearby chameleons important information about its emotional or physical state. They're living mood indicators, not stealth technology. 18. Touching a toad gives you warts. Warts are caused by human papillomavirus, a virus spreading between humans through skin contact or contaminated surfaces. Toads have absolutely nothing to do with it. The bumps covering a toad's skin are glands secreting defensive toxins to discourage predators. Those toxins can cause skin irritation if you handle a toad roughly and then touch your eyes or mouth, but they cannot and will not give you warts. This myth traces back to medieval times when people needed explanations for medical conditions they didn't understand. It's biologically impossible for a human virus to transfer from an amphibian. If you develop warts, you got them from another human, not from the toad in your garden. 19. Bees die after they sting you. This creates a dangerous false sense of security. Only honeybees have barbed stingers that tear out of their bodies when embedded in thick skin like ours, causing their death. Bumblebees, wasps, hornets, and most other stinging insects have smooth stingers that slide out cleanly. They can sting repeatedly without any consequences to themselves. Treating every buzzing insect like it has one shot is an excellent way to get stung multiple times while you stand there assuming they're already spent. If it's not specifically a honeybee, you're dealing with an insect that can attack again and again. Respect accordingly. 20. Piranhas are unstoppable predators. Theodore Roosevelt watched a staged feeding demonstration in 1913 that shaped decades of piranha mythology. Local guides starved the fish for days, then threw a deceased animal into the water to create a dramatic spectacle for the visiting dignitary. Under normal conditions, piranhas are omnivores eating fruits, seeds, insects, and occasionally sick fish. They're actually quite skittish. Indigenous communities swim in piranha-filled rivers daily without incident. The aggressive feeding frenzy behavior only emerges during extreme drought when hundreds of fish are trapped in shrinking pools with limited food. They're not mindless predators. They're opportunistic feeders becoming desperate when resources disappear. 21. Great white sharks are mindless predators. 1975 gave us a certain shark movie, and the world has feared great whites as calculated human hunters ever since. Most attacks on humans are identification mistakes. From below, a person on a surfboard creates a silhouette nearly identical to a seal, which is their actual prey. When a great white realizes it bit something too bony and lacking in fat, it usually releases immediately and leaves. They're not targeting humans. They're making honest errors in species identification. Sharks are cautious, intelligent animals with no interest in human meat. We've built an entire fear industry around a species that views us as cases of mistaken identity, not meals. 22. Opossums hang by their tails like bats. Baby opossums can briefly grip branches with their tails for short periods. Adult opossums are far too heavy for this. Their prehensile tails assist with balance and climbing, but cannot support their full weight for more than a few seconds. An adult opossum trying to sleep while hanging upside down would immediately fall and likely injure itself. They're ground-dwelling marsupials that occasionally climb trees to escape threats or raid bird nests, but they don't live in trees. If you see an opossum hanging from a branch, it's either a juvenile or it's about to fall. Cartoons lied about the physics of marsupial weight distribution. 23. Wolves howl at the moon. Wolves tilt their heads upward when howling for acoustic reasons, not astronomical ones. Pointing your mouth skyward projects sound farther across terrain, allowing communication over distances up to 10 miles. The moon is visible during these howls simply because wolves are nocturnal hunters active when the moon is out. They're not worshiping it, singing to it, or acknowledging its existence. They're using optimal acoustic angles to communicate with pack members about location, territory boundaries, and coordination. We romanticize practical physics into mysticism because humans love assigning emotional meaning to functional animal behaviors. 24. Cats always land on their feet. Cats have a remarkable righting reflex allowing them to rotate their bodies mid-air and often land feet first. But this isn't magic, and it's not guaranteed. Falls from low heights don't give them enough time to complete the rotation, resulting in dangerous landings. Veterinarians actually see more injuries from short falls than tall ones because cats falling from higher positions have time to spread their bodies like parachutes, slowing their descent. The righting reflex is incredible, but it's not foolproof. Treating your cat like a physics-defying acrobat is how you end up with expensive vet bills and a cat that no longer trusts you near open windows. 25. Possums play dead as a conscious strategy. The phrase playing possum implies deliberate deception. The reality is far less strategic. When severely threatened, opossums enter an involuntary catatonic state called tonic immobility. They physically cannot move. Their bodies release foul-smelling fluids, they drool, and they release waste. This isn't a performance. It's a nervous system shutdown triggered by extreme stress. The response happens to work as a defense mechanism because predators often avoid animals that appear diseased or already deceased. The opossum can remain frozen like this for hours, completely vulnerable to anything that decides to investigate further. It's an automatic panic response that evolution accidentally turned into a survival strategy. 26. Koalas are intoxicated all the time. Koalas sleep 22 hours a day and move with all the enthusiasm of someone underwater, leading to assumptions about intoxication. Eucalyptus leaves aren't fermented or alcoholic. They're toxic and nutritionally worthless. Koalas evolved to tolerate these toxins, but processing this terrible diet requires enormous energy. They're not experiencing euphoria. They're conserving every possible calorie to avoid starvation. Their extreme lethargy is metabolic efficiency taken to its logical extreme. Calling them intoxicated trivializes the reality that they're surviving on one of the worst possible diets in the animal kingdom and spending most of their lives in low-power mode to compensate. 27. Rabbits love eating carrots. A certain cartoon rabbit has single-handedly caused a health crisis among domestic rabbits worldwide. Carrots are essentially candy bars for rabbits. They're loaded with sugar that rabbits' digestive systems aren't designed to process regularly. Rabbits are grazing herbivores needing constant access to hay and leafy greens. Their teeth grow continuously, requiring the abrasive fiber in hay to wear them down naturally. Feeding them carrots as a staple food leads to dental disease, obesity, and digestive problems. The carrot-eating rabbit came from a 1934 movie reference that audiences missed entirely, and now millions of rabbits suffer from well-meaning owners feeding them an inappropriate diet. 28. Turtles can leave their shells. Saturday morning cartoons show turtles stepping out of their shells like removable housing. This is anatomically horrific. A turtle shell isn't armor plating or a portable home. It's their skeleton reorganized to the outside of their body. The shell is their rib cage and spine fused with modified skin plates. Removing a turtle from its shell would require peeling away its skeletal structure and major organs. It would be immediately fatal. If you find an empty turtle shell, the previous occupant didn't relocate. They were eaten by a predator that consumed the soft tissue and left the hard parts behind. 29. Dolphins save drowning humans because they're kind. Stories of dolphins rescuing swimmers sound heartwarming until you examine dolphin behavior more closely. Dolphins are intelligent, curious, and playful. They also enjoy pushing floating objects around. When a dolphin pushes a struggling human towards shore, it might not be executing a rescue operation. It might just be playing with something interesting it found. For every reported story of a dolphin pushing someone to safety, there could be unreported incidents of dolphins pushing people in unhelpful directions. We only hear the positive outcomes because those people survived to share their stories. Dolphins aren't malicious, but they're also not necessarily altruistic lifeguards. They're powerful, unpredictable wild animals responding to stimuli in their environment. 30. Female praying mantises always consume males after mating. Biology classes love sharing this as nature's ultimate relationship horror story. The original research establishing this behavior was conducted in artificial laboratory conditions. Stressed, starving female mantises trapped in small containers with males and no escape routes. Under those circumstances, the male becomes the only available food source. Field studies of wild mantis populations show mating cannibalism occurs in only 15 to 30% of encounters. Most males successfully mate and leave unharmed. The female is more likely to eat the male if she's severely malnourished, but it's not an automatic outcome. We've taken observations from artificial stress conditions and applied them as universal truth. 31. A dog's mouth is cleaner than a human's mouth. People repeat this claim right after letting dogs lick their faces, apparently needing justification for their choices. Dogs use their mouths as universal tools, eating, drinking, grooming their rear ends, investigating waste from other animals, picking up dead things they find outside. Their mouths contain bacteria specifically adapted to canine biology. Those bacteria don't usually make humans sick, but that's because they're incompatible with human systems, not because dogs have sanitized mouths. The bacterial populations in a dog's mouth are just as dense and diverse as human oral bacteria. If you wouldn't kiss a toilet, reconsider your relationship with dog saliva. 32. Lions are the kings of the jungle. This title persists despite being geographically nonsensical. Lions live in savannas and grasslands. They don't inhabit jungles. If you transported a lion into a dense tropical jungle, it would be confused, overheated, and largely ineffective as a predator. Tigers actually live in jungles and forests. They're also larger, stronger, and more powerful than lions. The King of the Jungle title comes from British colonial writers romanticizing African wildlife without bothering to check basic habitat facts. We've spent centuries giving credit to the wrong big cat simply because someone wrote persuasive poetry about lions looking majestic on the savannah. 33. Pit bulls have locking jaws. This myth treats certain dog breeds like mechanical devices with special bone structures. No dog breed has a jaw-locking mechanism. Pit Pit bulls have the same skull and jaw anatomy as every other dog, from Chihuahuas to poodles. What they do have is strong jaw muscles and a temperamental tendency toward determination. When they bite and hold, it's muscular strength and behavioral persistence, not anatomical peculiarity. Spreading the locking jaw myth does real harm by making these dogs seem like biological anomalies, rather than normal dogs with breed-specific traits. It's the equivalent of claiming bodybuilders have locking arms because they're difficult to escape from in a hold. 34. Cow tipping is a real rural activity. City people visiting the countryside have been pranked with this myth for generations. Tipping a cow is functionally impossible for humans. Cows weigh around 1,500 pounds and stand on 4 widely spaced legs, creating an extremely stable base. You'd need multiple strong people coordinating perfectly or vehicle-level force to knock one over. More importantly, cows don't sleep standing up. They lie down to sleep like reasonable mammals. If you approach a standing cow at night, you're approaching an awake animal that will likely panic and kick you. The only thing getting tipped is your assumption that rural teenagers were telling you the truth. 35. Sharks are completely immune to cancer. This myth did real damage to shark populations worldwide. Companies marketed shark cartilage supplements as cancer treatments based on the false premise that sharks never develop tumors. Sharks absolutely get cancer. Scientists have documented tumors in numerous shark species, including malignant melanomas. The idea that consuming shark cartilage provides immunity has no scientific basis whatsoever. It's folk medicine dressed up with pseudo-scientific marketing. We devastated ocean ecosystems by removing millions of sharks to produce useless supplements for desperate patients. The myth caused environmental destruction while offering zero medical benefit. 36. A duck's quack does not echo. Sound physics don't create special exceptions for waterfowl. Duck quacks echo exactly like every other sound. The confusion arises because duck quacks are relatively soft sounds that fade quickly. The echo exists, but it blends with the original sound in ways that make it difficult for human ears to distinguish as separate. Put a duck in a canyon or sound-dampened recording studio, and you'll clearly hear the echo. The universe didn't create acoustic anomalies specifically to silence duck echoes. If you can't hear it, the limitation is in your hearing range in the testing environment, not in reality. 37. Snakes are slimy to the touch. People assume snakes feel wet and mucus covered without ever actually touching one. Snake skin is completely dry. Their scales are made of keratin, the same material as your fingernails. The texture is smooth, cool, and closer to polished leather than anything slimy. The misconception probably comes from confusing snakes with amphibians like frogs, which do have moist skin. It might also come from their shiny appearance in certain lighting. If you hold a snake and it feels slimy, check your own hands. You're probably sweating from nervousness, and your palms are the actual source of moisture. 38. Peeing on a jellyfish sting relieves the pain. Television shows convince millions of people that urine is an appropriate first aid response for jellyfish stings. It's not just ineffective, it can make things worse. Jellyfish tentacles contain nematocysts, specialized cells that fire venom when triggered by chemical changes. Urine contains fresh water and waste products that can activate unfired nematocysts still on the skin, injecting more venom and increasing pain. The proper treatment is vinegar or seawater, which stabilize the nematocysts without triggering additional stings. If you urinate on someone's jellyfish sting, you're not being helpful. You're adding insult to literal injury while making everything worse. 39. Elephants are the only animals that cannot jump. This factoid circulates constantly, trying to make elephants seem uniquely ground-bound. It's true that elephants can't jump, mostly because launching 4 tons of mass into the air would shatter their leg bones on landing. But they're far from alone in this limitation. Hippos can't jump, rhinos can't jump, sloths can't jump. Multiple large species are permanently grounded by basic physics. Elephants get singled out because they're charismatic megafauna that people find interesting. The inability to jump isn't a biological quirk specific to elephants. It's a logical consequence of being extremely heavy. Gravity applies equally to all massive animals, not just the ones with trunks. 40. Bears hibernate through the entire winter. The word hibernate gets used for bears, but technically they're doing something different. True hibernators like ground squirrels drop their body temperature near freezing and enter a coma-like state so deep you could handle them without waking them. Bears enter torpor, a lighter version where their body temperature drops only a few degrees and they can wake up quickly if disturbed. A hibernating bear is not unconscious or helpless. It's napping lightly and will absolutely wake up if you make noise nearby. Approaching a torpid bear in winter thinking it's in a coma is an excellent way to discover that it's actually alert, hungry, and capable of defending itself immediately. So which of these myths have you been confidently repeating for years? Which one made you realize you've been spreading misinformation without ever checking the facts? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if watching your childhood knowledge get systematically dismantled was entertaining, hit that like button and subscribe because there are plenty more myths waiting to be exposed. The truth is always more interesting than the lies we've been told.